Wait, have you ever actually thought about it? Like genuinely thought about it? What was the first word ever spoken by a human? Who said it and what did it even sound like? Okay, so picture this. 200,000 years ago. No cities, no internet, no nothing. Just a dense forest, a small fire, and a tiny group of humans sitting together, scared, hungry, and then one of them does something no animal had ever done before. They open their mouth and say something. Not a grunt, not a scream, something the others actually understood. And that one moment, that literally changed everything. I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool story, but what does that even mean for us? Well, stick with me because what we're about to get into is genuinely one of the most mind blowing mysteries in all of human history. Okay, so here's why this question drives scientists absolutely crazy. Sound doesn't fossilize. Let that sink in for a second. Like when archaeologists dig up ancient bones, they can tell you what early humans looked like, what they ate, how tall they were, but they cannot tell you what those humans sounded like. There's no ancient recording, no evidence, nothing. It's so frustrating that in 1866, I'm not joking, this actually happened. The Linguistic Society of Paris literally banned all research papers on this topic. They were like, nobody can ever prove anything about this, so just stop wasting our time. That's how hard this question is. But modern science has changed the game. DNA analysis, fossil research, brain scans researchers are slowly, piece by piece, putting this puzzle together. And what they've found, honestly, kind of insane. Let's go even further back. Like 2 million years ago, our earliest ancestors' creatures called Homo habilis communicated exactly like animals do: grunts, screams, warning calls. That's it. Just like chimpanzees today, who have maybe 30 to 40 different calls for things like danger, food, and aggression, basic animal communication. That's all it was. But then something started changing. The human brain began growing rapidly. The parts responsible for communication got bigger and more complex than in any other species on the planet. And physically, our throats changed too. The human voice box dropped lower, creating a bigger vocal tract. Suddenly, we could make sounds no other animal on earth could make: complex vowels, consonants, combinations. We were literally being built for language. Like evolution looked at us and said, these ones are going to talk a lot. In 2001, scientists discovered something that genuinely shocked the world: a gene called FOXP2. People sometimes call it the language gene because people who have mutations in it struggle massively with speech. It controls the incredibly precise movements of your tongue, lips, and jaw that you need to form words. Every single human on earth has a specific version of this gene. And when scientists compared ours to chimpanzees, ours had mutated in a way that theirs hadn't. But here's where it gets wild. Are you ready for this? Scientists extracted DNA from Neanderthal fossils, our closest ancient relatives who went extinct about 40,000 years ago. And they found that Neanderthals had the same version of FOXP2 as us, which means Neanderthals could probably speak too. They may have had their own language, their own words, their own conversations around the fire at night, stories we will never hear. Words that disappeared forever when they went extinct. I don't know about you, but that honestly gives me chills every single time I think about it. Okay, so scientists have a few different theories on how language began, and each one is more fascinating than the last. First up, this one's called the Bow Wow theory. And yes, that is the actual name. I did not make that up. The idea is that early humans started by imitating sounds around them. They heard a wolf and copied it. They heard thunder and mimicked it. And slowly, those sounds became associated with the things they described. You can actually still see this today. Words like buzz, crash, hiss, murmur, they literally sound like what they mean. That's not a coincidence. That might be a direct echo of how the very first words were born. Next up, the yo-he-ho theory, another real name, I promise. When early humans worked together lifting rocks, pulling heavy things, they made rhythmic sounds to stay in sync. those sounds slowly evolved into words. Think about it. Soldiers marched to a beat. Sailors used to sing while pulling ropes. Language, according to this theory, literally came from teamwork. Pretty cool, right? Now, this next one is interesting. Some scientists think we gestured before we ever spoke, pointing, waving, miming actions. And then sounds were added to those gestures. And eventually, sounds replaced them entirely. The evidence for this is actually really strong. Even today, people gesture constantly while talking. Like, watch yourself next time you're on a call. Your hands are moving, aren't they? And deaf communities around the world independently develop complex sign languages, which suggests our brains are just naturally wired for this. Okay, and this last one is honestly my personal favorite. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar proposed that language evolved as a replacement for physical grooming. Stay with me here. Chimps bond by grooming each other, picking through fur for hours. But as human groups got bigger, there wasn't enough time to physically groom everyone. So we developed a vocal alternative, talking, chatting, gossiping, telling stories around the fire. Language, according to Dunbar, was basically just social glue, a way to bond with more people at once without needing to touch them, which honestly makes complete sense. We literally still do this today. Okay, now this is the part that blows my mind every single time. What if every language on Earth, all 7,000 of them, came from just one original language? Linguists call this hypothetical language proto-world, the mother of all languages. We already know for certain that many languages share a common ancestor. Hindi, English, Spanish, Russian, Persian, Greek, they all descended from a language called Proto-Indo-European, spoken about 6,000 years ago. We've never found a written record of it. But by comparing modern languages, linguists have actually reconstructed some of its words. That's insane, right? Like they rebuilt a language from scratch just by comparing its descendants. Proto-world goes even further back, maybe 100,000 years or more. Some researchers have noticed that basic words for mother, water, fire, hand, have surprising similarities across completely unrelated language families around the world. Could those be echoes of the original human language? Most linguists are skeptical. Languages change too much over thousands of years to trace that far back, but the idea just won't die. Because it's too beautiful to ignore. The thought that every word ever spoken in every language on every continent traces back to one single voice. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for. What was the first word? The honest answer? We will probably never know for sure. I know, but hear me out. Researchers have made some educated guesses. The first words were likely simple sounds tied to immediate survival. Danger, food, fire, come here, run. But here's the most fascinating clue of all, and this one actually got me. The words mama and papa, or sounds very close to them, exist in almost every language on Earth. Every single one. Why? Because they're the easiest sounds a baby can make. The lips come together, a sound comes out, ma, pa. Almost every culture on Earth, completely independently, landed on the same sounds for mother and father. That is not a coincidence. That might literally be the oldest words in human history. The first sounds that actually meant something, the first real communication between a human and another human who loved them. Here's what gets me about all of this. Language is the thing that makes us truly human, not tools, not fire, not even our big brains. It's the ability to take a thought, something invisible, existing only inside your head, and transfer it into someone else's mind, using nothing but vibrations in the air. Every story ever told, every song ever sung, every I love you ever whispered, every prayer, every joke, every argument, every single conversation that ever changed someone's life, they all trace back to one moment, one person, one sound, the first word. We'll probably never know what it was. But the fact that you understood every single word I just said means it worked and it changed the world forever.